Morning, guys. It's the 11th of November, 2023. Happy Veterans Day. I'm in Brandenburg, Kentucky with my friend, and this is the engine and transmission that come here to get. And this is the person, that's his project car there. Pretty cool, huh? 66 Lincoln. Got a lot of neat stuff here. Yeah. All right, I'm wrapping it up here. I'm at Brian Everett's place in Brandenburg, Kentucky, right? Yeah, that's So that's Brad. That's Brian over there, and he's got a really neat shop. Something I'd love to have someday. All kinds of project cars here, lots of fun. And he sold me some good stuff I need for my '67 Lincoln. Here's the engine, 462 motor strapped in on the truck, C6 transmission, which he did some work on. So he was very generous and gave me some good prices. Also got a tilt steering column back in there and some other miscellaneous parts, a fan shroud, floor mats. I didn't think I would, and they're the right color too, which was really amazing. So I really lucked out here. Got some neat cars here too, where he's lowered this Cadillac here with air suspension. He's got a Ford pickup here that's got a Mercedes diesel engine in it. So he's got some cool stuff going on here. But anyway, that's wrapping it up for my trip to Brandenburg, Kentucky. Got to go pick up my friend at the hotel. He doesn't share my enthusiasm for these old Lincolns and cars and whatnot, but anyway, pretty exciting. Going to hit the road and head back to Maryland soon. All right, hello everybody. It is Sunday, the 12th of November. It's a sunny, cool fall day. It's nice out. I'm doing some last prep work here for tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, I'll be driving this rental F-150 to my friend's shop where I will offload the engine and the transmission that sits behind it. So I've got to put some chains on it, hook that up. So all I got to do when I drive over tomorrow morning is just get it off the vehicle so I can get the rental turned back in. And I'm going to show you some of the parts that I ended up getting. I tell you, this Brian in Brandenburg, Kentucky, he was very generous, very nice with his prices and everything. So I'm very appreciative. It was a very lucrative road trip, well worth the trip out there. Drove out one day, Friday, came back last night, late Saturday, drove about 1,400 plus miles, and it was a really good trip. So I'm going to give you a quick tour right now of the parts that I bought. All right, continuing on with my little tour here. This, of course, is the 462 V8 engine. This was pulled from a 1966 Lincoln sedan that Brian is working on in Kentucky. Here's the C6 transmission that goes with it. He did some work on the transmission, he told me, put a new front pump seal in it behind the torque converter. He also redid the rear housing. He actually took it apart and he did something different with the factory bearings that are normally in there. If you've ever been inside of one of these, you know what I'm talking about. It's obvious when you pull out the output shaft and you see the three splines that are there. He did something completely different. He custom designs things and whatnot. So I'm not going to bother with it. And I'm trusting him to say that he fixed it differently so it works better. And I didn't pull the shaft out because I didn't want the fluid to come leaking out of it. As it was, I got some fluid on here from the lack of a dipstick tube, but I have one for my old transmission that I'll use in its place. The motor mounts from this one are broken, but that's okay. I have new ones that should be here in a day or two, well before I'll need them. Um, Something I'm going to do while I have access to it very easily is on the side here, I'm going to be replacing the freeze plugs that are on the side of the block. I noticed a couple of them when I looked at them closely, look like they're kind of rusted and on the verge of leaking. So no point in reusing them and all that. So I'll get under the exhaust manifolds and get that done. Hopefully today. I should be able to find some standard size freeze plugs at my local auto parts store, I would hope. I'm also going to replace this exhaust manifold just because the studs on this side are kind of in bad shape. It'll be easier just to pull the manifolds off my existing engine and slap it on this side. Oh, that reminds me, I got to get gaskets too before I can do that. But I've got time to get all that done. Here's another view of the C6 transmission. You can also tell that this came off of a 66 because of this switch that you see on the side here. This is where the neutral safety switch is located on a 66 Lincoln. On a 67 Lincoln and newer, they were moved to the steering column, the neutral safety switch. So that switch I will not need and I'll remove it. And I don't know if there's any other differences really in the transmissions. I should just be able to move over what I need. So this engine is supposedly a good running engine, and he gave me, among other parts, I'll show you in a minute, he gave me a Pertronix electronic ignition kit. So it has a coil, and I'll replace the points and condenser that are inside the distributor. Although those are new points and condenser, he actually had the engine running using that setup. This is a newer style 2-port fuel pump that I will replace eventually with 3-port style, since he had one. As you've seen from previous videos, I actually have a new water pump and a rebuilt power steering pump. But as far as I know, these are in good condition, so I'm probably just going to leave those alone and just save what I have as spare parts for some future need in the future when they wear out. So here's some of the goodies that I got from him. He gave me a tilt steering wheel, tilt steering column, and it turns out that the sedan that he parted out that he got from his local junkyard was the same color as mine, a forest green, which was perfect because now some of the little bit of interior parts I got from him already match in color. Obviously, this steering column needs some help, needs to be cleaned up and whatnot. The poor car it came out of had been kind of half buried in mud and whatnot, and a lot of rust and stuff on it. So this part here that goes against the firewall is kind of worn out a little bit. The rag joint is no good, and that's okay. But I think I can clean that up and use it. Just clean up this steering column and probably make use of it. It'll be nice actually to have a tilt steering column in the car, even though the original one is just a straight column, but this one is salvageable. So I was appreciative that he gave me that. He also had the correct color center pad here that goes in the steering wheel. Forest green, dark forest green, which is perfect. That's my interior color. It's missing the 2 chrome rings that go here, but I believe Mark II Enterprises remanufactures those. So eventually, that's something way down the road. That's not important right now. This, however, is very important. Beautiful fan shroud that he gave me. Um, Perfect condition. There's no tears, cracks, or whatever on it. So that's something I was missing. I didn't have, so now I have it. He also gave me some. This part here goes in the front of the car under the header panel above the grill, and I need at least 1/2 of these pieces. So now I have it, which is nice. In fact, I think I need them both. He gave me those. He also gave me. He didn't want these. These are the vacuum power door lock actuators, along with the manifolds and just distribution points for all the vacuum lines. And I don't remember if this is part of the car. I think it is. I think this is part of the system too. And of course the door lock actuators that go on the front doors. He just gave that to me. He said he had no intention of using them. As you know, my car didn't come with power door locks, which is very unusual. Most of these Lincolns from the 60s, late 60s had them already, but mine didn't. So if I feel like it, I can upgrade it and add it. I haven't decided if I really want to go through that or not. So that's just something I'm going to, keep hanging around, maybe for future use. This was a very valuable find here. I was very excited that he actually had a complete set of forest green colored floor mats. The ones I needed are for the rear seat right here. I already have front ones, so now I have an extra pair for the front. But the rear ones I didn't have at all, so they're in really good condition, especially considering the status of the car they came out of. I can flatten that out without too much trouble, I think. So that was exciting. He also gave me the front trim pieces that go behind the front bumper, and I'm missing that for my passenger side front because of the damage. So even though these are a little corroded and whatnot, it's better than nothing. So I appreciated that. That's very useful. Got a slightly used starter. I have a new one or a rebuilt one that I'll use, but this will be a spare. He also had he took the complete speed control unit out of that car, his parts car. I don't really need it. I have a complete one. I don't know if it works though, so that's why I went ahead and he did charge me a little bit for that because he knows it has some value, and that's okay. Even if it's just a spare, I'll hang on to that. And other things I needed this license plate light lens. I broke mine. If you were following my video about the rear bumpers, so now I have a whole new bracket here. The wire is cut and missing from there, but he cleaned it up a little bit for me, and I'll probably just use the lens itself. That's really all I need. So that was very nice. And this goes with the tilt steering column trim piece that goes with it. He has a very nice brand new master cylinder that he threw in. I had already bought a master cylinder, but this one's really nice, even nicer. So I probably use this one and keep my other one as a spare. He gave me a brand new aftermarket alternator, which I'm not planning on using, at least not right away. I think it's 155 amps or 100, some big number. I forget what it is. 130 amps. Yeah, that's what it is. Has an internal regulator built in. I know that people have converted, from using external regulator and all that. So I've got what I need to do that if I want to. Right now, I'm not worried about that. I've already got a factory, 55 amp alternator that I already bought. So plus a new regulator. He gave me this will be a spare again, electronic external regulator. I don't even know where that came from there. Um, this was something important that he already had for me sitting aside. Replacement wiper switch since I broke mine. This one appears to be in good condition, so that's good. I definitely needed that. And here's the plug, the one I had messed up from my uh, air conditioning heat control module that plugs into this. I'd ruined the plug on it, so now I have a replacement plug, and I bought a special kit that's going to help me splice these together in somewhat of a professional manner, I hope. What else do I have here? Carburetor, the original style, which was on the car when he had it running on his 66. So I know it's a good carburetor. However, I probably will rebuild it. I mean, a rebuild kit's not that expensive, and I've been inside carburetors before, so I think that'll be a good wintertime project to try that rather than just slapping this on the engine and trying to get it running with it as is. It's got the solenoid for the air conditioning system in the back. Of course, the fuel line's on the correct side because this was designed for the Lincoln. So, and I've got all the linkage. I'm pretty sure I have all the linkage I need for it. So that's in good shape. The only thing I don't like about these is the old-fashioned stove choke system. That system is it's all messed up on mine. It connects to the exhaust manifold and all that. So, but that's just small stuff. Here's the Pertronic stuff, electronic ignition and a coil. That's really nice. And here's something very valuable. I did pay extra for this because he knows how valuable these are, but he gave me a fair price on it. A proper 3-port fuel pump. And as you know, I'd already bought a 2-port new one made in China that wasn't very expensive. So I'll buy the kit for this and use this one instead. And he also included the heat shield, which is also nice to have. Spare clock. You never have too many of these. Spare starter relay. Looks fairly new. I bought a new one too, so I'll have a spare. And I needed this because he had removed it from the engine. I forget what he said, why, but here it is. I just got to get a gasket for it to install it back on the engine. So that is all the loot that I got. And he was very, very generous on the prices he gave me, so it made it well worth the trip out there. Just the money I spent just for the engine and transmission, of course, made the trip worth it. All these other things were wonderful extras that will take me a long way as I work toward getting this car running. I'm just illustrating here what it looks like as I work on getting these freeze plugs out. First one I punched out with just a flat little punch, got it turned here. The good thing I liked is as I opened it up, clean coolant came out, green colored, looked very clean, so that's a good sign for the internals of the engine. So I'm just going to continue and replace or remove all of these freeze plugs. I think there's 6 of them, 3 on each side of the lower ones in the block. The ones on the heads, they look like they're in good condition, so I'm not going to worry too much about them, but we'll see as I get closer. All right, I forgot to wrap this up outside before it got dark. Anyway, I knocked out the 6 freeze plugs. They turned out not to be in that bad a shape, but I don't mind replacing them anyway. It's a good time to do it, easy to do when the engine's out. Couldn't find them locally. Everything seems to be hard to find for an old car, so I ordered them online. Should be here by the end of the week. No rush. It'll be a couple of weeks, I'm sure, before I'm ready to even attempt to do the engine and transmission swap. So what was the other thing? Oh yeah, I put the chains on top of the engine so it's ready to be plucked out of the back of that pickup truck. So that wraps it up for the day, and then tomorrow morning, Monday, I will be at my friend's mechanic shop to unload the pickup truck, and then I'll do what I can to finish preparing the car, and in about 2 more weeks after that, I will be over there to actually swap the engine and transmission out, have a tow truck come and get the car and all that. See ya.